I literally walked out of the movie theater not too long ago after watching the Demon Slayer Infinity Castle movie. And off top, I'm gonna just say that movie was tough. I almost want to go as far as saying it was peak, but there admittedly was like one thing about the movie that kind of stood out to me in a negative way. We're gonna talk about overall, man. Oh my gosh, this movie was so good. Gives you that Demon Slayer animation that you've come to expect by now, but ups it by 100. We get Akaza returning in this movie. We'll also get to see two of the upper moon demons that are above him. The appearances in this movie, one of which gets a decent showing against Shinobu, which we are going to talk about. Warning y'all, by the way, this video is going to be spoiler infested. So if you didn't watch the movie yet, go ahead and copy y'all a ticket and then come back and watch this video. I'm just gonna get right into it, man. I got pizza on the side waiting for me to consume. So if you like anything I gotta say in this review of Demon Slayer Infinity Castle, you already know what y'all gotta do. Like, comment, share, subscribe, do all those things. And really let me know how I feel about this movie review. I don't usually talk about anime on my YouTube. I usually save that for TikTok. My first channel unfortunately got taken down by YouTube because Shueisha didn't like my usage of manga panels. That's really the biggest reason why I have not brought anime and manga back on the YouTube platform. But if y'all rock with this review, let me know, because I can definitely keep this content pushing. Especially knowing that we're not getting any type of Demon Slayer until 2027. I might have a thing or two I want to talk about with this movie going forward. So if y'all interested in it, let me know. Otherwise, I'll just keep it for my TikTok people who appreciate anything and everything that I post. Before I get into any of the fights, I gotta speak on the desperation of the Demon Slayers in this movie. We saw the movie with the scene of Giyu visiting the father of these Demon Slayers, who I'm gonna call him. I know who I'm talking about. I'm gonna call him Sir Yubuyashiki. I'm gonna put respect on bro name. Feeling MUZAN'S presence growing ever stronger and feeling like he's going to make his return sooner than later. He tells Giyu, look, you need to use me as bait. I know my kids and I know the other Demon Slayers is not go before that. This is the best way for y'all to catch him off guard. Now, even if y'all are to slice off his head, I'm gonna be real with you, it might not be enough to take him out. And if that is the case, the only thing we can do to take out MUZAN at that point is hold him out until sunrise. You see throughout the movie, it is pitch black. We are at the peak of night, but everybody is saying, yo, this might be the last night we have to deal with these demon motherfuckers. There's no way that conversation that Yubuyashiki had with Giyu is not foreshadowing to some degree, especially with how we see Akaza going out by the end of this movie. Cutting off the head of these upper moon demons clearly is not going to be enough, so our heroes are going to have to draw him out in that sunlight to take bro out. As long as the sun is coming up by the time they make their way out of this Infinity Castle, some way, somehow, however they end up doing it, and they don't have to hold him off for that long, it really shouldn't be that bad taking care of MUZAN, right? But yeah, I love how the movie started off with that conversation, and it emphasizes how desperate these Demon Slayers are to eradicate all of these demons, especially coming off the Hashira trainer arc that I did not watch, not gonna lie. But I read the manga, so I know how the series is gonna end, so it balances out. You know how hard they were training in the Hashira trainer arc, and then coming here to show off the results of that training. And that's just counting the Hashira. We have Tanjiro and Zenitsu having elite showings in this movie. And not say the same for Inosuke, unfortunately, but that boy's time is coming. It just goes to show that everybody understands that this is the moment. Tonight is the night we get rid of MUZAN once and for all, so every second counts, every slash is vital. We gotta regroup as soon as possible for when MUZAN gets exposed so that we can take him out right then and there. Now, obviously, that's easier said than done in this Infinity Castle that is constantly moving, because a shorty that's constantly strumming that string instrument. I seen a Facebook story of somebody who watched the movie saying that they need to go after her. F MUZAN right now, and I agree. It's good they have the crows. It's good that they have the Yubuyashiki family making these maps to direct the Demon Slayers that are inside their castle to hopefully get them to MUZAN's location. But as long as shorty is moving the castle around, even if one person makes it to MUZAN's location, you're not going to be able to get the rest of the people over there. So hopefully they make that a priority in this next movie. As I said earlier on in the video, we get to see all three of these upper moons at some point in this movie, as well as Kaigaku, who is upper 6 at this point in time. One thing I liked that the movie did was emphasizing just how much of a threat the upper moons at this level are compared to the lower upper moons. Obviously, we've seen Tanjiro and the other Hashira fight some of these upper moons throughout the series in some pretty high div fight. And the same happens in this movie, particularly in the fight between Giyu and Tanjiro versus Akaza, who is upper moon 3. So when we talk about upper moon 2 and above, y'all gotta understand the gap between 3 and 2 and then 1 is so different. That's why I love how they showed Doma versus Shinobu in this movie. Because even though Doma didn't really break a sweat, it makes you think, damn, if Doma is doing Shinobu like this, mind you, the fastest Hashira possibly of all time, what is this dude gonna be on when we finally get to see him? Just something for y'all to think about. I already know how this is gonna go down. And that fight will go crazy when it's animated. I cannot wait for that Upper Moon 1 fight. For the first major fight of the movie, we have Shinobu versus Doma. We got Shinobu walking up on Doma. We see Doma eating some of the survey corps. Shinobu ain't really appreciate that. She sees that one is still alive, so she goes to save her life. Doma compliments her speed, but then we see that he actually was able to cut Shorty up with his fans, killing her. Now, I can't stress this enough. That one interaction to start the fight is how the rest of the fight played out after. Shinobu's fast, so she's able to keep up with Doma for the most part. She's not able to do any significant damage to Doma, even with her 20,000 poisons in that katana. Obviously, she can't cut his neck because of the way her sword is set up, so she has to thrust in order to do any damage to her. This dude seemed to be resistant to all 20,000, so Shinobu really doesn't have that many tricks she could pull out of her bag against him. But she has motivation. Doma is the demon that took out her big sister from back in the day, so you already know. She's seen his face, seen that he matched the description that her sister provided her before she passed away. That was all she needed to continue to get back up when Doma continued to put her down. Mind you, as the fight progresses, every time Doma waves his fan, Shinobu is taking in some deadly toxins herself that is directly affecting her lungs. You know, the organ that allows you to breathe, which is a demon slayer's need to fight. Yeah, even before she got slashed by Doma, she was at a significant disadvantage. She even comments on it physically, how she doesn't have the longest arms, she's not the tallest. So she's getting in her head about fighting them, but then we have her big sister come down, give her the motivation she needs to get back up. She does this insane flurry of moves, so many that she's able to get down, pierce Doma from down below, and bring him up all the way to the ceiling. But that still was not enough. She starts to go crashing down, but Doma catches her, bringing her in his clutches, breaking her spine before Kanao, who I think is her sister or relative of some kind, walks in. Has to literally watch Doma digest her somehow. But he didn't eat her, she just literally phased through his stomach. I think this is a great way to start the movie. You gotta show that the opposition is not playing no game. And now we just have an idea, literally just an idea, an appetizer of what to expect out of these Upper Moon demons in the next films to come. Outside of that though, I thought the fight was pretty meh overall. Love Doma's taunting, but I hated that Shinobu going out the way she did. Very one-sided fight throughout. Hopefully Kanao can spin back on her toes. So next week I'll talk about Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. Now through this movie, at the end of season 4, I didn't watch it, but I peeped. That boy Zenitsu was on straight BT for some reason. We knew nothing about why he was though. So you already know we had to get that expanded on in this movie. See Zenitsu running into his brother Kaigaku, who is now a demon. We quickly learn that these two have a great disdain for one another, even before bro became a demon. Before the fight starts, Kaigaku gets to taunting Zenitsu, talking about you only mastered the one form. I'm so tight, Graham tried to make me code anything with yo sorry ass. That's when Zenitsu brings up the fact that his grandfather committed seppuku after finding out that bro turned himself into a demon. Kaigaku says he doesn't care, F his grandfather, and you already know that shit set Zenitsu off. They got to boxing, and Kaigaku shows off all forms of thunder breathing, where Zenitsu can only use the one. And it's not very effective because this guy is not just a demon, but he is a demon slayer turned demon, which makes him that much stronger. We even get a comment by a dude that saves Zenitsu by the end of his fight, that if he had fought him even a year later, he would have got dusted, no question. So yeah, Zenitsu fought brother at the right time. When he sees the first form isn't effective, he decides to pull out something new out of his bag. Something he created himself, the 7th form, taking out Kaigaku when shit was looking real dicey for the boy. Throughout the fight, we get flashbacks to Zenitsu and Kaigaku with their grandfather. By the end of it, we see Zenitsu seeing his grandfather. He's apologizing for not getting along with Kaigaku back in the day. That's just when his grandfather says, Zenitsu, you are my pride and joy. It almost brought tears to niggas' eyes, I ain't gonna lie. I was really looking forward to this fight being animated, and I can say that it did not disappoint. Great follow-up from Shinobu versus Doma, if you ask me. I love how the flashback was used to expand on Zenitsu and Kaigaku's relationship with their grandfather and with themselves. I also think it was fitting that a power-hungry, unappreciative Kaigaku went out the way he did with nobody to be there when he died, similarly to how his grandfather did. Alright, let's talk about the heavy-hitting fight that I have little to no time to talk about at this point. Giyu and Tanjiro versus Akaza. Now, we know for Tanjiro, this is super personal. From the very beginning of the fight, he's showing how much he's grown from the Mugen Train arc, where he wasn't even able to keep up with Akaza and Rengoku. Now getting 2 solid counters off on bro to let him know, yeah, I'm here too, nigga. Yeah, that didn't last too long though, I'm not gonna lie. A lot of this fight is really Giyu and Akaza, with Tanjiro providing immaculate support as he has in past arcs. And I really hate when people comment on Tanjiro providing a support role to Hashira. They're the strongest nigga in his universe. What else is he supposed to do? He's not on their level just yet, but he's not holding them back in the fight. He's able to hold his own. We see time and time again in this fight with Akaza, constantly reassessing the situation, finding what drives Akaza's fighting spirit. Going back to a conversation we had with Inosuke, where he learned that if he doesn't come in with killer intent, his enemy will not sense him, so that he's able to get off that strike to take off Akaza's head. Yeah, don't get me wrong, Giyu and Akaza were boxing, especially when Giyu got that mark in his face after Akaza blew his back out. If it wasn't for Tanjiro, them crows would have been screaming Giyu name the same way they were screaming Shinobu name at the beginning of the movie. Going into this movie, I completely forgot about Akaza's flashback, but I absolutely loved it. I heard a lot of people complaining about Akaza's flashback when we literally have flashbacks throughout the entire movie that kind of take you out of the plot. I get it. This is Demon Slayer, where the Upper Moons always get some type of deep introspective flashback of when they were once human. We got Doma's flashback in this movie helping us learn a little bit more about him and his connection with Shinobu's family. Then we got some of Kaigaku's flashback, his connection with Zenitsu and his grandfather. Akaza's flashback is a way to show why his fighting spirit is on at all times, but also what led him to go down the path of the demon. Having lost everything he ever loved, he decided to go down this path because nothing else mattered to him. It was so beautiful seeing him get his memory back in this fight, seemingly being able to make amends to everybody that he loved before he passed away. I give this movie a strong 9 out of 10. Outside of the flashbacks taking me out of the moment from time to time, this movie was perfection in every other way. Runtime was also a little much, but I never felt like it overstayed its welcome. If you're looking forward to the second movie, let me know your thoughts on this one if you've seen it in the comments.